Humans have an annoyingly abundant tendency to assume knowledge and overestimate ability and competence in things such as subjects at school, work-related things, sports, anything competitive that you can gauge yourself against others in. And a while ago I came across the Dunning-Kruger effect, which I think is relevant. And Wikipedia says it's a cognitive bias in which relatively unskilled people or persons suffer illusory superiority, mistakenly assessing their ability to be much higher than it actually really is. Now, I'm not actually going to be talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect itself because I'm not a psychologist, but I thought I'd talk about people that have suffered or do suffer from overconfidence and overestimation of ability. So, people often associate the Dunning-Kruger effect with the term people who are too stupid to know that they're stupid, which I think is a fine analogy and all, but I prefer to look at it and the abundance of black and whiteness, which would be the tendency to create dichotomies without reason, without, logical backing. For example, having a yes or no answer with no in between, no range, no scale. And I would also associate it with the failure to assess yourself correctly and the failure to assess other people correctly. There is a friend who sticks out violently when I was reading about this. And I'm sure everyone knows multiple people like this with varying degrees to which they exemplify the Dunning-Kruger effect or the overconfidence. This person finishes sentences, and often they're wrong. This person has so much overconfidence in everything that they do that when they do something with confidence, 80% of the time, they fail. Not dramatically, but they fail and they're faced with the reality that they're not as skilled as they thought they were. But in 20% of the time, or even less, they will succeed because of the overconfidence. Because confidence is a great, motivator. It is great at helping you succeed in some cases. So 20% of the time they succeed, what their brain does is their brain remembers the 20% times when they succeeded, when they overestimated their ability, but were not faced with the reality that they overestimated it. And then they forget about the 80% of times when their ability did not live up to what their brain thought it was. So what this creates is this self-fulfilling cycle of overconfidence, and you can see it grow in people sometimes. Now, I've had this friend for years, so I've really seen it grow, especially in the past year or two. Especially in terms of something like jokes. They will crack maybe 100 jokes, and 90 of them fall flat. and they don't add to the conversation. They're just kind of unfunny. But 10 times out of 100, it's a great joke and everyone laughs, and it's very funny. And it's weird that people like laughing. So the person, by brute force, instead of assessing why other jokes were bad, by brute force, create as many jokes as they can, and just wait until one is successful. It's almost like how rabbits would breed. Rabbits don't evolve to avoid predators. They don't evolve to outwit predators. They don't evolve in this sort of a way. They evolve so that they can have more rabbits. And then by brute force, a fox won't be able to kill every single rabbit. And therefore, some will survive. And someone who is very aware of their own ability, someone not like me, someone who exudes confidence, but people still like them in most scenarios, would be more like the fox that evolved so that it can catch more rabbits, the fox that evolved so it can evade its predator, who looks back on why he failed, realizes and estimates the reason why he failed, and then moves forward and takes it into account. And this is extremely important when you're making goals, or when someone gives you a task, which they're going to do a lot. People will give you tasks every day of your life. You need to complete them. You need to make your own tasks, your own goals. When actualizing these goals, if you overestimate your ability, these goals will almost never get done. Almost never get done. For example, when I was a young lad, I was better than most of my English class for 2 years, and then I just sort of dropped off because I stopped caring. I lost motivation for the beauty of language for temporarily. And when I walked into exams, when I walked into class each day, I would assume knowledge. I would overestimate my ranking in the class. I always assumed I was just the top 5 by default. And I got a very harsh reality when I took the test and I got a C when I began getting straight A's most of the time. From this, as with many other people, I started to make excuses. I started to say it was a bad test. I started to say it was just a bad day for me. I started to say, well, I'm not really into this subject. I just won't do it on the real test. And then I went into the real test and I came out with a C. And people always say the best way to learn is to fail. And I certainly learned from this. And I don't think I've ever assumed overconfidence to that degree since. But there are people who still do it every day. I find the best way to deal with these people is to simply hint at them. Don't be blunt, because these people, again, they're too stupid to know they're stupid. Now, I don't like to use the word stupid, but they are blinded, they are paralyzed by overconfidence, so that they will never actually realize overconfidence until it hits them. And it hits them hard. And so, I haven't confronted this friend yet about his overconfidence. I hope to do so in the future. And I've tried confronting other friends who have the same problem but not to the same degree. And I've discussed it with them, and I think it's done well. People generally will appreciate advice that you give them as long as you are not condescending. Because being condescending is just another form of overconfidence.